Hi, my name is Malcolm. I'm working towards a degree in health education and health promotion. Today we'll be talking about ethical decisions, ethical decision making, and how the process can be used with coalitions. In coalitions, because there may be diverse groups involved, issues can arise that force members to make difficult decisions. Personal and organizational values may be at the heart and cause some of these ethical dilemmas or problems. All right, so what are ethics and what makes for ethical dilemmas in the decision-making process? Webster defines ethics as the discipline dealing with what is good and bad with moral duty and obligation, and also the principles conducting or governing an individual or group. So ethics are the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. And so obviously then, depending on cultural, religious background, even time period where you're coming from, ethics could present differently. There is then a difference then from values that determines how a person actually behaves, and ethics and what a person believes is right and wrong. Ethical decision making can be incredibly complex, and there may be competing choices that require a great deal of structure and procedure to ensure everyone in the coalition has a voice. Nurit noted that there are typically 4 areas where ethical dilemmas typically arise with coalitions. The first being strategies and content of health communication campaign messages. The next being inadvertent adverse outcomes from campaign activities. Then power and control issues, and finally social values. And again, when you have coalitions coming from different parts of the world or even the country or different areas even in the same city, you could have people with different ethical values. Now, there are many different models that could be followed, but the text recommends the Josephson model. The Josephson model is based on 6 values that are universal. So they disclude things like religion, culture, politics, ethnicity, other human divisions like time period. Now, the Josephson model considers 6 values, or the pillars. The first being trustworthiness, and you could interpret that to mean honesty, integrity, reliability, or promise keeping, or even loyalty. The next pillar is respect, and that includes civility, courtesy, decency, dignity and autonomy, and then finally tolerance and acceptance. The next or third pillar is responsibility, and this means to be accountable, whether it's through the pursuit of excellence or self-restraint. The fourth pillar is fairness, whether through process or being impartial or even equity. The fifth pillar is caring, and that one is fairly self-explanatory. And then finally is citizenship. So, Josephson's decision model includes several steps, and there are 6 steps in this model. The first step is stop and think. We all have the power to decide what we say, and we are morally responsible for the consequences of our actions. The second step of this decision model is to clarify goals. Decisions that fulfill immediate wants and needs can prevent the achievement of important life goals. So don't settle for a short-term outcome that could have or even already known negative consequences. Step 3, determine the facts. And this can be incredibly difficult, especially today. There's so many outlets of information, so we have to consider reliability and credibility of the people we're getting the facts from. And the same goes too from online sources. So we have to discount things like assumptions, gossip, hearsay. Those are simply not facts, and we have to think about the validity of what we're taking in. The next step is to develop options. You should be able to brainstorm. You're not on your own if you're in a coalition. There are many other people you can call on to ask for options. If you can only think of 2 options, then you need to call someone else in to help you through this process. Because sometimes an ethical issue may be beyond your experience. The next step is going to be to consider the consequences. And you need to take those 6 pillars of character: the trustworthiness, the respect, the responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship, and filter your choices through those. Will your actions violate any of those particular principles? For instance, would you be lying or breaking a promise? Would you be disrespectful to someone or their culture? Would it be uncaring? Would you be breaking laws or rules? If you see that, then you should eliminate unethical options. The next step is to choose. So here's a good litmus test. If someone found out about your decision, would you be proud and comfortable? Would you be okay putting this in your Facebook timeline? Good choices look good no matter what is going on. All right, the final step: monitor and modify. All right, so there are 7 steps, not 6. I apologize. All right, so no coalition or group is immune from mistakes. And sometimes mistakes can take a really long time to materialize. You should never be afraid to go back and say, this may not have been the most ethical decision to make. And ask yourself, is it more important for your decision to have been right because you thought of it? Or is it more important to be ethical and good for everyone? So in summation, this is an intricate issue. Don't be afraid to admit you were wrong. Don't be afraid to consider other people's points of view and take in other religious, cultural, and racial considerations when considering what is ethical or unethical. Thank you for your time.